So this week, Rogue One, the first Star Wars spin-off movie, comes out, and that means all week long I'm going to be talking about Star Wars. Over on my buddy Durbin's channel, I did a review with him of Star Wars The Force Awakens. You can check that out above. But right now, what I want to do is talk about 5 reasons that I am very excited for Star Wars Rogue One. And let's talk about them. Reason number 1, the reviews from the premiere were great. So as of the timing of this video, last night the premiere happened and people got to tweet out their kind of like tweetable response, tweetable review to the movie, and they were almost all through the roof excellent. People saying it's better than The Force Awakens, it's everything you wanted, it's awesome, it has all the moments of payoff that you're expecting, but almost every single one of them was just a glowing review. I saw one guy, he was a bit on the negative in saying that the story was a bit convoluted, but that was only one guy, and he went on to say the visuals are great, the action is great, the spectacle is great, it delivers what you want, but the plotting's kind of convoluted. Besides that guy, though, everyone else just said this is an awesome movie. The third act is mind-blowing, spectacular. Don't check out any reviews other than a sentence because you don't want anything spoiled. The marketing has done a great job of withholding a lot of what's going on in the story and the twists and the turns. So everything from the premiere I've heard has only been highly encouraging to me. So you should be excited about Rogue One because the reviews thus far coming out of the premiere were great. Reason number 2, this movie is putting the war back into Star Wars. Throughout all of the marketing, out of all of the promises, talking about the synopsis, about what they're trying to do with this movie, they've made it clear that they want to put the war into Star Wars. And so we've seen a lot of battles, we've seen a lot of stuff, but it's focused primarily on the Skywalker family line as opposed to the war in general and the consequences of war, the nature of war. This movie is about the war, the spies, the operations, the battlefronts. That's what this movie is all about. So you should be very excited about it if you want to see the war put into Star Wars. That's what this movie is all about, and you should be pumped. Reason number 3, the Lost Stars effect. So about a year ago, they put out a book called Lost Stars, and essentially it tracks through the story of the original Star Wars trilogy from the perspective of a guy in the rebellion and a girl that's in part of the Empire. And you get to see these stories, these major events that we've only seen from the perspective of the stars of the Empire and the rebellion, and the perspective of just average people. We get to see the other side of the story, the background of what happened. And that's kind of what this movie's all about, is getting to see the events and the lead up to them in very specific, particular ways that flesh out this world beyond the mythological side of the Skywalker story of the Force and going from farm boy to Jedi Knight savior of the universe. This time we get to see the average people in this story do extraordinary things. The side of things, the background of how did this weapon get developed? How did the plans get happened? All of, like I said, the war side of it. We get to see it from this personal stories of actual soldiers, a part of this grand story, a part of this grand war. That's what we get to see. And that's the book Lost Stars was very intriguing because it did that. It was my favorite of the Star Wars books and the favorite of many people because of this perspective of these larger in life events, seen from the perspective of just average soldiers. This movie's going to give us that. That's what it's promised, and that's what it sounds like it's going to deliver. So because of that Lost Stars effect, this book was so awesome, and I think that's the type of movie we're going to get. That's what they're so much showing it to be, and that has me very excited. Reason number 4 you should be excited is this movie is expanding the mythology beyond the Skywalkers. So in each of the episode films, the story is about the Skywalkers, their lineage, their rise, their fall, their light, their dark, their powers, and all about the Force. Whereas this movie is all about the rebellion and the Empire and the war going on, as I've mentioned before. But this is our chance to expand the Star Wars universe beyond just this one family that we've spent so much time with and their journeys in this universe. This time we get to see other adventures beyond them. And that's huge in the Star Wars universe to have a story of this nature that's different. That's not about the Skywalkers. It's not about the Force. It's not the hero's journey that we saw throughout all of George Lucas's films. This is something different. It's an expansion of this universe that we love. It's a perspective of seeing the events here that we've never seen before. And it's very much focusing on something so different. And that has me very excited. How are they going to handle this? And all of the things that are just the tropes of the Star Wars universe that don't necessarily fit into this story. What does a Star Wars story look like without those tropes? That has me very excited. Reason number 5 you should be excited, Darth Vader. While the story does not focus on the Skywalker family, it doesn't mean we don't have this guy right here making an appearance, and this movie gives us the opportunity. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm guessing we're going to get some awesome scenes. And he's not the star, he's not the main villain, but there's going to be some stuff in this movie where we get to see, with 21st century CGI effects, with someone that knows how to do visuals well, in Gareth Edwards, we're going to get to see Darth Vader do some pretty cool stuff. And in the original trilogy, we saw a guy in a suit with the technology from 35 years ago do the best they could do and make incredible sequences because there was great writing. But what we didn't get to see is just a incredibly powerful Sith Lord with the advantages of everything we can do today and all the wise lessons we've learned from the failures of the prequels. We haven't gotten to see Darth Vader just mow through some rebel scum. And I think this movie, we might get what we want. And I think the hope of that happening, or just getting more Darth Vader at the height of his evil, of his darkness, that is what I think is going to be some great stuff that's going to make for some incredible moments. I'm very excited to see what they do in that regard. I'm very excited for that reasons. How about you? Why are you excited to see Star Wars Rogue One, a Star Wars story? I want to know. Tell me in the comment section. Let's talk about it. This is such an interesting project to me. I love that we're going to get Star Wars movies like this moving forward in the future. Tell me about it. Why you think this is going to be awesome. I'd love to talk to you. I don't want to just talk about Star Wars. I want to talk about Star Wars with you. With all that said, this is Star Wars week, and I do have some reservations about Rogue One. Tomorrow, I'm going to put out a video called All the Reasons I'm Worried About Rogue One. That'll be out tomorrow. So please check out that video. Also coming up in a couple of days, I'm going to put up a review of the very first Star Wars spin-off movie, the actual first one, a made-for-TV movie called Ewoks, The Caravan of Courage. I rewatched it. It's not good. So I'm hoping Rogue One can be much better than it. But my review for that will be up soon. I actually did a review of the Battle for Endor, Ewoks Battle for Endor, a couple weeks ago. Check that out. The link is theoretically somewhere around there. If you're new to my channel, you've never subscribed, please consider clicking that subscribe button. It means the world to me that you guys watch this, talk with me, care about my opinions. And as always, thank you for watching.